Most people believe attachment is about people. It's not. Attachment is about identity. You don't get attached to someone. You get attached to who you became around them. That version of you felt familiar, predictable, safe, and the mind prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar freedom. This is why letting go feels like losing yourself, because in a way, you are, not the real you, the constructed one. Attachment is not love, it is continuity, the need for things to stay the same so you don't have to face the unknown. Notice this. When something leaves your life, what hurts first? Is it their absence or the collapse of the story you were living inside? Most people don't grieve the person. They grieve the future they imagined, the routines, the expectations, the identity they were rehearsing. I am someone who has this. I am someone who belongs there. I am someone who is chosen. When that disappears, the mind panics, not because it lost something valuable, but because it lost a reference point. Attachment forms when identity becomes dependent, dependent on outcomes, dependent on roles, dependent on external confirmation. This is why attachment feels so personal, because it threatens the image you work so hard to maintain. Ask yourself this honestly. Who would you be if this thing was gone? No title, no relationship, no audience, just you. That question alone reveals the attachment. The mind does not cling to objects, it clings to meaning, and meaning gives the ego structure. Attachment is the ego protecting its architecture. This is why logic rarely breaks attachment. You can understand why something is unhealthy and still feel unable to release it, because you're not negotiating with reason. You're negotiating with identity. The ego says, if this goes, who am I? So it holds tighter, not out of love, out of fear, fear of emptiness, fear of not knowing, fear of having no role to play. But here is what most people never see. Attachment is not strength. It is dependence disguised as loyalty. True connection does not collapse when form changes. Only attachment does. Notice how attachment demands reassurance, control, certainty. Love does not. Attachment says, stay the same so I can remain comfortable. Awareness says, let change reveal what is real. This is why growth always feels like loss at first, because growth removes what was never essential. When attachment loosens, something interesting happens. You don't become empty, you become spacious. The mind expects collapse. But clarity appears instead, because what remains was never attached in the first place. Identity without attachment becomes flexible, responsive, free. You stop defining yourself by what you hold and start recognizing yourself as what observes. This is the shift, from ownership to presence, from clinging to clarity, from this defines me to this passes through me. Most people never make this transition. They build lives around maintaining attachment, relationships, careers, self-images, and then call that stability. But stability built on attachment requires constant defense. Something always threatens it. Silence, change, truth. This is why attachment creates anxiety, because deep down, the ego knows everything it depends on is temporary. So ask yourself this, slowly. If nothing you're attached to is permanent, why build your identity on any of it? And if attachment is not who you are, then who are you when there is nothing left to hold?